Oh, hi there. I know it's a bit strange. It's not really an important topic for a lot of people at 2 a.m. in the morning, but I can't sleep anyway. So, anyway, um, TransLink is, a lot of money's being passed around as far as what their ideas are and what changes they could make to make the service better, and this, that, and the other. It affects the whole Metro Vancouver area. Um, Okay, for starters, um, the double-decker buses are going to be hanging around. They go to the ferries as of now. That is purely because of tourism. They're not doing it for our benefit. Somehow they think it saves them money by repairing old buses. I don't understand how the logic comes from that because they have to repair them so often. But evidently, that's the way it is. I've seen it in the workplace too, where they just repair equipment over and over and over again instead of, anteing up and, putting in the money to get a new one. But anyway, they actually have done that with these double-decker buses. And as I was saying, this is just because of tourism. They want more people going to the island from BC. And that it does make sense. And they knew they were going to do that the second they started with a program of just having two of them. Like the decision was probably already made right then and there. It's just hammering out the kinks in the contract and things like that, and other things that I couldn't possibly know were going on. But I knew the second I saw one that they were going to be around. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is they're considering putting washrooms at the Canada Line stations. I actually am for this, not because I need them, because I don't. Uh, like downtown Richmond, anything like that. It's 15 minutes. I'm a young guy, it's not a big deal. But there are a lot of old people, and like I see them stressing. I see them stressing on the train because that is the reason, because there's no washrooms around. It's a big deal. I mean, my dad, he's a senior citizen, and it's an issue for him sometimes. And I really think there should be washrooms. Like maybe have it so that you have to have a Compass card to enter or something like that. Because I mean, obviously, the Canada Line doesn't want junkies going in there, or people who want to go smoke a doobie or something. Uh, I mean, with the kind of money that's, as I said, was being passed around, they just signed a $7 billion deal. I know it's going to things, but you couldn't hire someone for minimum wage just to monitor that area, and that's the only job they do. I mean, like, come on, minimum wage isn't that much. Like one person per station. That's all you need. And if there is any problems, and there always could be because people are stupid and they're cunts, uh, he does what any other Canada Line employee would do, which is pick up the phone and call somebody else to go deal with their problem. I mean, you don't have to have, a menacing 6'6" bouncer bodyguard guarding the public washrooms at a Canada Line. As a matter of fact, every time I've been on the Canada Line, there's never really been any significant problem. And as another matter of fact, you'd figure, oh, coming back late at night on a Friday or Saturday, people are going to be, getting drunk downtown. Odds are there's going to be vomit on the Canada Line. The Canada Line's been there for years. You know how many times I've seen vomit on the Canada Line? Once. One time. I mean, it was disgusting and I didn't want to see it. And it actually got cleaned up quite quickly. But the point is, it doesn't actually happen that often. I mean, a lot of people would be embarrassed about, vomiting on the Canada Line and things like that. I have never had that problem, but I have walked in there and seen that that had happened. It's not much of a story. I just, walked further down, and then about two stops later, someone was there with a bucket and a mop. So it was dealt with. So anyways, that's what I was getting at. That hiring somebody for minimum wage, they can watch the washroom, and that's their job. I mean, like government spending and things like that, money just huge sums of money just disappears all the time. I honestly cannot see someone working minimum wage, 5 days a week, at a Canada Line stop really being that much of an issue. It's not going to break the bank of TransLink. It's just not going to. So I really would think having washrooms there should be part of the service. I mean, people pay to go on the Canada Line. They pay, hundreds of dollars a year, or sometimes more, depending on what their needs are. And it's just like, okay, the initial construction of the washrooms, that's going to cost a little bit of money, but in the long run, Canada Line's rolling in it. They're doing fine. Um, and it's was important to build because it was a fast track to the airport, which also makes a lot of money, which would encourage tourism and things like that. So I honestly believe that public washrooms in whatever shape, form, or manner would be appropriate at each Canada Line station. Um, that's just my opinion, uh, for what it's worth. Another thing they were talking about was reviewing changes towards uh, allowing pets on public transit. I mean, the current rules are if it's small in a cage, um, usually isn't any problems. If it's busy, the bus driver can say no. I have seen this um, a few times, a number of times, because I do not own a vehicle. I go on public transit. And bus drivers can be assholes. Sometimes they're nice, sometimes they can be assholes. I mean, it's I guess the same with any profession, but they get paid enough money that they should just deal with it. I mean, if they don't like their job, go fucking quit. Go get another job. Of course, a lot of people that are assholes are, crotchety assholes that have been in the industry for 30 plus years, and they're just not going to pick up their shit and go. But that doesn't mean we should have to put up with their bullshit. Um, because I've seen things like, not particularly crowded buses, and a woman had a specialized, almost like baby stroller type thing for a little dog that she had. Like nobody would have even noticed that it was a dog in there because just the way it was constructed, and the dog was, perfectly quiet. And the bus driver is like, he's like, on the next stop, you gotta get off. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's, kind of a gray area as far as the rules go. Like, it's not exactly a small cage or anything like that, but, if something's quiet, not dangerous, 'cause it's just a little dog, none of it was exposed because just the way the carriage was constructed. Uh, there was nobody, who needed wheelchair space, or there wasn't another baby stroller coming on, or anything like that. I didn't really see what the issue was. Some people can be assholes just over technicalities, though. I mean, because then that could put pressure on them as far as their job, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, you're not going to get canned for allowing a woman to have a stroller type thing that has a little dog in it, even if it's for 5 or 10 stops, she's on there for like 20 minutes. Like this is like sometimes it really does feel like we're you know controlled by an iron fist and a velvet glove. Like it wouldn't take too much to convince people that we need fascism and authoritarianism because in a lot of professions not really that much different. And people go, well, no, it's not like that at all. It's completely different. Actually, you'd be surprised at how similar it is. But anyway, that's not the point I wanted to make. The point is, I think that kind of rules along with pets have to change, not just on public transit. This was the example I was making, but also as far as rental units go and things like that. Um, I don't see an issue with cats or dogs. Um, negotiable, obviously. You can't have a dog that's big enough to eat 200 pounds of meat. Well, not 200 pounds, but although they're probably, well, I don't know. I don't think there are dogs that are big enough to eat 200 pounds of meat a week. Because, I mean, a lion eats 15 pounds a day. So, well, I don't know. But anyway, that's $200 worth of meat a week was what I meant to say. Then okay, that dog's a bit on the big side, but as far as regular sized dog, mild mannered, not yelpy or loud, especially in rental units, because more and more people are resorting to renting because the housing market is just out of control. The problem with renter management not allowing people to have those kind of pets, it means those pets don't have a home because of that. It's one less place that they don't have. And I don't care if people have to rent. I don't care if they're poor, but take it out on dogs or cats or any normal kind of pet, telling them they don't got a home because their owner is a renter. That's bullshit. Um, yeah, and on the bus, I guess the rules kind of fair. Small in a cage. What more is there to add to that? But yeah, some owners are really poor, and that's their only means of getting their pet to a veterinarian is by bus. And to deny them that, I don't think is fair. I mean, obviously, there are some animals that are just not used to being in vehicles, and the second they are, they make a lot of noise. And I could see that kind of being a bit irritating. Um, I mean, I would put up with it because I like animals, but I could totally see other people not doing that. Um, and in those instances, I think the owner would have to, invest the 15, $20 to get a cab to do it. I just, I don't like the idea of, animals being left behind. And that's essentially what it is sometimes. I mean, and of course, there's always reason. Like I said, obviously, if the animal's too big, uh, if it's an exotic animal or something like that, not necessarily illegal, but really ought to be. There's a lot of animals that some people do have as pets that they shouldn't. I mean, we're not going to get into that right now, but I think they have no business. There's certain animals that some people have that they have no business having them here in Canada. Like if you want exotic snakes or reptiles or whatever, move to the fucking Amazon. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need you here. Um, so, I anticipate that, policy is more or less going to stay the same. I can't honestly see them changing it that much. And, for people who are mildly inconvenienced for whatever 15, 20 minutes they're on a bus and there happens to be an animal there and they don't like it for whatever reason, maybe it's an allergic thing or whatever. um, I don't Most people don't have allergies to animals to the point where it's unbearable and it's going to kill them if the animal's anywhere near them, like the dander and all that sort of stuff. That's not the truth. I mean, they'll get runny eyes, they'll sneeze, but suck it up. There are a lot worse things than that. I mean, you can always get off the bus. And that gets me back to the point of I don't think the animals should have to, pay for that just because there could be one douchebag human who, has whatever kind of an issue with them. Because, throughout the ages, people have considered uh, humans to be higher animals uh, than the animals. They considered themselves the best, and even disconnected themselves from being animals. And the truth is, a lot of people on this planet are scum. That's just the truth of the matter. And I don't feel sorry for them. That's why I was saying, like, I don't care if people have to rent. I don't care if they're poor. Don't give a rat's ass about that at all. I'm not a socialist or any of that kind of stuff. It's all about the bottom line for me, but I don't think the animals should have to pay for it. Um, so that's why I think the renters should be allowed to have, within reason, some kind of a pet within their within their home. Um, I mean, it discourages rodent infestation if nothing else. Even dogs are quite good at doing that. A lot of dogs actually are very good at it. Actually, I shouldn't specifically say which one's better or whatever, but yeah, I guess those were the three main topics I wanted to talk about in this story, um, this video, and I guess I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.